drive, so let me tell you now what I've been doing with my time. Jumped off the road and my taxi got paid. Yeah, interiors of cars when I make them, they're amazing. The inside of your favorite player's car, probably bigger, and a minimum 1,000. That's the Martins that I'm naming. And life can be a funny little thing, see, I'll never sound so you won't see you with a ring. I like my driving looking massive, got a beamer with a wing. You see me tuning on my baby, so I press it till it sings. Packing up my bags and then I'm moving to America. The UK is a man that's been to hell and back, I'm telling ya. I wanna live it large, cause I'm sick of being regular. You see me going Mars, you looking static, going nebula.
Where would I be in 5 years time if any asked me? Heading for success, I'm reaching for the top. Actually, I'm looking back at the rappers trying to catch me. Took the full 5 years to realise they got managed to catch myself, maybe.
And I used to, but now I don't think it's that, you know. I think the reason acting was therapeutic for me. So at the time, I did like my own life.
Yeah.
And so I get to play somebody else for a bit, and that was nice.
Yeah,
you get me?
Yeah,
But then when I started to like my own setup, I didn't
Being
like putting
someone
myself in someone else's shoes after a bit, no matter what their lifestyle was. And depending on, because we tour so often, we used to do 7-month fun, basically.
Around the country.
Around the country, around the world.
Oh, that's it.
Around the world. And it means that like you spend a lot of time with one character.
Yeah.
You spend more time in character than as your own
So you
self.
kind of forget
People start saying to you, yo, you're changing.
Yeah, for real. And like at the time, I mean, these guys will vouch. I did one show called Freeman for 3 straight years.
Yeah.
And my hair was out here, my beard was out here. And because of the character and his mental, the character was going through this mental breakdown. Anytime I looked at myself in the mirror, I couldn't see me anymore.
Yeah, you see
I just kept seeing this geese that
Wow.
was
I can't
just
imagine
setting me
that
off.
feeling, but like you say, if you're doing it for such a long period of time,
You forget.
that's how the mind works.
Now
you know
you
what I mean?
forget.
Like, we are creatures
and
of
the other
habit in
thing is
ourselves.
people were calling me the characters' names. I'm at Edinburgh. We're doing 2 shows a day. We're there for the month, and you know we've done longer stretches, but it's a lot of people in one space.
Yeah.
And you walk in and be like, Freeman, and I'm answering to Freeman. Someone's calling me Corey. I can't hear them. I'm not even clapping. I can't even get me. I'm just this for that long, and it just took its toll. People knocking on our door. People finding out where we live to congratulate us on the work, but they're calling us by our character name.
Yeah,
so it wasn't just me, the other
Yeah,
performers.
man, everything around you, isn't it? Yeah, man, I get you.
That'd be mad.
And those characters were real. They were all based on real people.
Okay.
So it felt too spiritual.
Yeah.
I hear that.
Like,
Sorry to
actually
go
becoming
there,
that
but
person.
yeah, it felt too.
Oh, yeah, I hear that totally, man. Thank you for being
Yeah,
honest.
he's, I mean, that's how he lost his life, man.
Yeah, we turned into the character too
Turned
much.
into the character.
See his diary at the end, you gotta do it.
Yeah. I watched on YouTube. It was hard to see.
Deep,
Trust
and
me, man, anything like that, man, it's hard.
It's too much.
Hard to see. Like, look at the 17-year-old footballer.
Yeah,
Hear about that one,
yeah,
the Manchester
yeah.
City player.
Forget his name, but the young boy
yeah,
from
was
Man
it just
City.
in something possibly?
I can't remember.
The poor kid took his life
Yeah.
because of
Can't
feeling
handle
like a failure and feeling like he let anyone down.
You know what
Yeah,
threw me
yeah,
off
yeah.
about that? I might. Maybe you guys know a bit more about that than me, but
I know too much.
when I was reading the paper, not even football, like
just in
the
general.
depression,
Yeah.
it kept saying young man died of depression.
Mm-hmm.
And so I didn't read into the story. I just read this headline, and I kept seeing this headline. I don't know if you guys saw it. You know, young man died of depression. That's all it kept saying.
Yeah, I had to read into it before you heard about the suicide because I get.
Yes.
But I thought, is this the new
norm.
terminology
Yeah, that's
for
what
this
it is.
thing? Like,
Probably them covering it up, probably because did they do enough?
exactly.
Did they help him? He probably cried out for help, maybe. And
Yeah,
somebody
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
help him.
Yeah.
Or someone didn't see the signs.
Yeah, yeah.
Because let's be honest, we can't all see signs.
Specifically, the word
Yeah.
is very. They were trying to almost blame him.
Yes.
It's almost like he died. He had
He couldn't
depression.
handle
He
it.
died.
Yeah.
Don't rate it.
Trust me, not at all, man. He obviously
All right.
didn't get what he needed as a
gonna
young
do
man
too
that's
much
going
with that,
through. Let's be honest, something like that. People say it's only something small, not making it as a footballer, but to a 17-year-old who
massive.
might not be in a
Massive.
good headspace anyway.
It's massive.
You know, so it cannot be good, man.
And it
You know
depends
what I mean?
what that, you know, for some people, football is just kicking the ball. For that individual, that might be a whole life.
It might be the
So
only
he's a
thing.
man
The only
for
thing
his
he's ever
family.
dreamed of, and he ever saw himself becoming.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
for sure, no doubt about it.
See, the worst thing is, yo, man's he got to turn around and said, right, listen, you've got links with Bolton, Bristol.
And that's the
Coventry.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
anywhere.
He said,
And
yo,
that's the-
you're not good enough to play for us, but
Yeah.
That's
these
a very
man, these
that
man, these
is
man.
a very
And
valid
they have
point.
very
As a
valid.
football club, they should
Very
have done
valid.
that.
And
They
they've
just
done
said,
that
nah,
for
we're not
others.
good, go home.
Yeah,
I
they
remember,
should have.
do you remember Villa?
Yeah.
They cooked him off straight away. It was bare transfers, straight away bare transfers.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
what they didn't do is let him drop. They do that to too many of the younger ones, especially at that age.
Yeah.
There's a process that they're going through. It's hard to.
Some of them are the agents as well, though, because some of them are taking on agents that don't really have. You know what I mean? They're not looking for success for the client. They're looking for as much money as they can get. Yeah.
Paycheck.
You know, and sometimes that can be a shame, a bad shame. But you're right, man. They should have offered him some kind of support after that. You know, maybe sometimes actually, as human beings, we're not quick to ask for help, are we? You know, we just boom. You know, something goes wrong, and we just, especially as men.
I struggle.
Especially as men, I sit in my room and I'm upset because you know, but I won't go and knock on someone's door and say, "Please help me," because it's the person I am.
Nah, I struggle with it.
I don't really want to ask for help. But having said that, if somebody notices I need help and says, "Do you need some help?" I'll say, "Yeah, please."
Nah, I'm terrible. Bro, even
You still won't even.
Yeah, I'm terrible for it.
I feel like I could do it myself. If another man can do it, I can do it.
That's really problematic.
Do you know what I'm saying? That's the stubbornness coming into play.
Same.
Like,
I have to agree. Is this on record yet?
Yeah, I'm going to speak to you after. See like which bit you want me to keep in because
Do
we're
you
going a bit
reckon
deep now.
the stuff like the fact that
Slow
we
natural.
don't want to ask for help? Do you think that comes from our ethnicity?
Some of it.
Not
Yeah, so
asking for help and being a little bit stubborn and not being willing to ask for help or sometimes even accept help, pretending that we are okay because we. Or do you reckon that's because we're men? Because it could be.
I think the both of them.
Combination.
Yeah.
I think I was raised by women. I got brothers and that, but my sisters, and even then it was a select few sisters, Lavina, Kashina, Tanisha, Sia. These women raised me. My mother also, but she was, as you can imagine, it's the normal story. Mom's working 2-3 jobs, then she gets ill, she's exhausted, get me to the powerhouse. Effectively, I was raised by my sisters, and my sisters raised me to be, I suppose, the man that they wanted.
Yes.
So it was always, you need to be strong, you need to provide, you need to, and rightly so, it created a version of me that respected women as much as I possibly could. I mean, we're living in a patriarchal world, and there's always going to be isms that I'm taking on from the world, and that's not an excuse, that's just the bullshit that we live in, yeah? It's true. But effectively, my sisters wanted me to be solid, but they were solid. They were solid like the way they wanted their men to be solid. My sisters were like troopers. So seeing that, I think, made me think, anything in our family, we must be able to get through just between us. But then when I started to go through stuff that men go through only, I can't talk to my sisters about that.
Yeah.
And I think culturally, that was like the culture in my house, and then the Caribbean culture, and then the masculine.
Yeah.
And there's just a lot of masculine in me. This like, yo, you hold this to the grave.
Yeah, man. Because you always get told, don't you? Say like maybe if you get upset over something, you get told, "Look, get over it. You know, it's not the end of the world.
Man up.
Yeah,
See, that's the one
exactly.
thing
Be
with my
strong.
little man, yeah?
You know?
I tell my little man, yo, you cry. You can cry. Nothing wrong with crying. Don't cry when you get told no. You cry if you hurt yourself. Cry if certain situations. But you don't have to cry all the time. You know what I'm saying? I never say the words man up to him. I never say the words.
No, definitely not. Because you want them to keep their emotions in it, man, and keep that side of them. You know, I was very emotional as a child myself. Like you said, I was brought up by my mum from the age of 3. My mum and dad split up, and my mum was white. So as much as I'm black and people look at me probably as some people have actually commented and said I'm full black. I was brought up by a white woman, and she brought up 4 of us on her own, did a fantastic job. So it was hard for me because I didn't really know much about my black culture. I actually since then have had to go and have a look and find out, because that's the thing with culture, it's not just thrown at you.
So can I ask you a question?
Of course you can.
You know, in terms of the nature of being dual heritage, does the world just see you as black?
Yeah.
Or
Do you know what it is, yeah? Me, my story, yeah, just my mum. Dad found out I was being born, ran away, the whole baby moves all over the place, crap, rubbish, you know. Yeah, just my mum till I was 12. My granddad was the only father figure I had.
so white granddad?
Yeah, white granddad, white mum, white auntie, white uncle.
Yeah.
My auntie did get with a Rasta man. He's the only other black person that I've had contact with ever. But I ain't really close to them, so I don't really go around eating food, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But Yeah, I grew up on bangers and mash, fish fingers and smiley faces. So
Yeah.
people will come to me like, they'll be like, oh, why can't you have spicy food? I'm like, what do you mean? No, I'm not. You see the skin, that's all you're seeing. Like, I can't do any spicy food. I can't speak in a Jamaican accent. I can't dance like that. I can't do nothing like that. Like, I can't sit there and understand what a Rastaman is saying in front of me word for word. People are like, why? Because it's not. I'm not born with that in front. It's not like a microchip put into my head or something. Like, you have to learn it. It's your heritage. My heritage
And there was a pressure
Yes.
for you to almost have that inherently.
Yeah, when I was a teenager, all of them was blasted out of the Vibes Cartel, start going to Caribbean shops, eating all the food and that. Well, the first time I walked in there, they're like to me, I'm like, oh, can I have some of that? And I'm looking in the window, I'm like, can I have some chicken wings? They're like, oh, you mean niblets? I'm like, I'm like, yo.
What did you say that?
I'm like, what's that in the window? Dumpling. Oh, what's in that? You know what I'm
that's
saying?
an interesting story.
Yeah,
That's really
interesting.
Like,
interesting.
I am,
bro.
everything about my background, everything is white up till I was about 18, 19, and then I started realising there's a brown side to me. Like, my mum, when I was 12, my mum had got with a man, had a boy, had a son, he's white, had another son, he's white, he had stepdaughters, they're white, so he's still always white. But, yeah, man, I found, I don't feel like I need to find, like, I need to know my black history, 100%. I need to accept that I'm not, inside I might feel white, but the society don't see me as white.
Yeah.
Because people say to me, oh, but you're not racially, I'm like, my girlfriend, yeah, she's from Rugby. She never seen racism really. Start going shopping with me when she got with me. Why is security guards always watching? But you see now, innit? You understand now what I mean?
Get me. Gang business.
That's my own song, that is. It won't be my brother, won't
They
it?
say, what's this Wiley?
That's my song, bro.
Oh, is
Yeah,
this it?
it's him.
That's my song, bro.
That sounded like Wiley cat. Old school, you know.
Sorry about
Yeah,
that.
man, old school, bro.
Sorry
That
about
sounded
that.
like a
I'm
Wiley
gonna put my
cat.
phone on silent now. 'Cause
Nah,
that was
no
getting
worries.
really.
Things happen, bro. Things happen.
But that's deep.
But yeah, everything white, everything, man, in my life. So then, especially when BLM happened, then I realised.
This run here. Because this one felt different, man.
Then I realised, you know what, I'm not. I'm brown. I'm not even brown. I'm black.
Yeah,
In the eyes of the Lord, in the law, sorry. When they're on the radio, they go, I see free male.
Yeah,
They don't mean mixed race male.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know,
100%, man. And it's always going to be a more sticky situation when you get pulled over as well.
I got stopped by
Expected to
police last
find
week.
something on you.
They stopped by police last week. Yeah, my car's, I have a normal car. Got a couple of little modifications like tinted back windows. They seen the tinted number plate only on the front of the car.
Yeah.
Police were behind me.
Yeah.
They pulled me over. They're like, oh, what around my car? Oh, yeah, tinted front number plate. How'd you see that? Oh, we just knew it was there. No, you didn't. You see me with my arm hanging out the window.
Yeah.
In a tracksuit top.
Yeah.
I thought we're going this guy. They
Assumptions.
pulled a black guy up the road on the same street 2 minutes before. I have it all on my dash cam. I went past them where they pulled the geezer over. He ran in his van, jumped in his van, followed me, pulled me over. The guy drove past me when they pulled me over. It's just judging, man. Judging.
Yeah.
Mad.
But just on that point, though, something that you just said struck me really, and it's the idea of us actually someday being able to get away from the idea or the social construct of race in terms of colour palette. You get me? Because even the way we're talking makes an assumption that if you're white, you behave like this, and if you're black, you behave like that.
Yeah.
And in your case, it is because the people around you who happen to be white, are expecting you to act black.
Yes.
That's not a thing.
No, that's true.
And similarly, if you were around black people,
Mm-hmm.
they'd expect you to act a certain way.
Yes.
It's not based on the colour of your skin. It's supposed to be based on the culture that you come up with.
Exactly.
You get me?
Exactly.
However, we attribute these things to skin
colour.
colour.
Too much.
It's a drama.
Of course it is.
It's just mad that we'll never ever live in a world of acceptance. That's what's
I
mad.
don't think we will.
It's like this, yeah. You don't. It's weird to say it. Like I've had to break it down to some stupid people to the point of explaining it like human race or dogs to make them understand what I mean. By saying you get dogs as a whole, and you have breed here. But it's not that deep. You know what I'm saying? But that's how I've had to explain to them when they said, "Oh, I don't see racism." I'm saying that's how you're judging it. You're judging man over here like he's a flipping Rottweiler. You're judging these people over here like there's something else. It's not. We're just people. Why don't you see people? Because if you need an organ or if you need blood transfusion, you're not going to go, "Oh, no, I need white blood. Oh, no, I'm only having black blood."
Any blood that's available.
Like put it in, quick.
But then there is this idea of the sickle cell trait, and them saying we actually need black people specifically.
Yeah.
I don't know. I go back and forth on this. I go back and forth on this because even that analogy of dogs, like, I like to say, human race similarly. It's just one race.
Yes.
But I don't think I am a different breed to you.
No.
And I don't think that any of us up here are a different breed to Heather.
Exactly.
No, I agree.
Precisely.
Totally.
You get me? Regardless of gender, regardless of skin color.
Just the ignorance, you know.
Yeah.
But the thing, like my mum says to me,
But there's
all
got
the
to be
same
something
colour.
biologically why they specifically ask for specific people to, like, for example, to give. I don't actually know what that is though. I've only just thought of it as you were talking.
It's true.
Do you? Then you not know that? Heather, you'll know, genius. Heather, guys,
Heather
this is
always
Heather.
knows.
Hello.
Well,
Basically,
the
yeah.
sickle cell thing that you were talking about specifically, like I don't know a lot about the transfusion, but that's specifically like a condition that means your cells are a different shape. It's not that all black people would have that though, it's only some.
It's more common, isn't it? I
Yeah,
think
'cause I have
it's
a
more
class.
common
It's
in
more
black
common in
people.
certain parts of the
Sorry,
world
definitely.
because it has developed as a response to malaria. So it's,
Say swear down.
yeah, so that's why it's more prevalent in certain communities. That's all.
And some of those environmental factors are dictated by the thing that we always try and avoid talking about, privilege and supremacy, regardless of whether we want to admit it or not. And I think that's the difficulty that I have. You're an English boy. I'm an English boy. You get me? At the end of the day, there's certain. I mean, me, because I grew up with it. My dad's from JA. But my man, yo, if you hear him talk, my mum talks more patois than my dad.
Yeah.
Remember this, guys. My dad's from JA, you know. He called me. I went to Cardiff, I think, when he came out, and then Brom. But he speaks like Queen's English. My mum don't want to forget where she's come from, but she didn't born there. She wasn't born in Jamaica, but there's part of her that is holding on to this culture, especially the Jamaican culture, diasporically. Again, sorry to go to that place, but we were taken to Jamaica. So even holding on to that as a culture is holding on to the place that you were taken to by slave owners, you get me? But we don't want to hold on to what is Mother Africa, you get me? When I came up, calling someone African was a disrespect.
Yeah.
If you wanted to say something nasty about someone, you say you're African, rare.
The skinny African.
Yeah. That's
I
what you'd
remember
say.
them days. I remember them days.
That's what you'd say.
Yeah.
Zulu warrior and all
Yeah.
that.
So we don't. We're not trying to hold on to that, but yet we'll hold on to the energy that has been created around what it is to be a Jamaican, what it is to be cool and calm, and if you're a man, what is it to be a gyalis, and if you're a woman, what it is to be able to walk. You get me? And to be able to dance, and we hold on to that, but culturally, we're richer.
Yeah.
And I love Jamaica. Don't get me wrong, but culturally, we are richer than that.
Yeah.
And so it feels like that issue, dichotomy, whatever you call it, that thing about feeling inside, I'm this thing.
You have to play the game.
But you have to play this.
It's like if I'm on the
role.
phone, when you hear my name, when you hear Luke Alexander Clark, and you hear me on the phone, oh hello, yeah, you're right, just like to do a job interview, you know, and then I walk in the door and they're like, and who we spoke to.
Few times.
You have to play the game.
You
have to.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you won't even get the chance of the interview.
You won't even get through the door.
You know what I'm saying?
I hear that. I think we've come a long way though. However, like from where we were 10 years ago or even 20 years ago, we're at a bad place. Like now I feel like we are accepted a lot more.
You mean in this country or in general or
just
what?
in general, personally, you know, the racism now is, you know, it's still there, but it's minimal. Do you know, nowadays if you know you walk down the street past an old lady, she doesn't necessarily cross the road. Whereas before, 10, 15 years ago, if I walked down the road, even in broad daylight, if it was an old lady, she'd grab hold of her handbag or she'd cross the road because she'd automatically think it's a black guy with a hood. I'm going to be, you know, might get robbed here.
Yeah.
I feel like we
I
are
have a
moving away
smile
from
for them situations.
You know what I'm
Like,
saying?
not me.
And again, these are interesting points. I mean, for me, I can't lie to you. They're still crossing the road.
yes.
They're still crossing the road. But again, it might be, I'm not joking, it might be because of how dark my skin is at that rate. You got me? So at that point, I do have that conversation. Like, I am a dark-skinned brother. If I see, you just raised the point. If I see, in fact, I had to say it to her, we had a whole conversation. Yo, Harry, you still there? Harry was in on the conversation, man. We had a whole conversation with our tech team, and I was sitting down, we were leisurely talking. I was saying to them, yo, you see, when I go out to the front, I take my hat off, I take my scarf off, I take my hands out my pockets, so that all the people that are in there, which are mainly older white people, can see I pose you no threat.
Imagine, because I was just about to say to him, right, you're telling me when we were out there waiting to come in here, and they had all the elderly people having their coffee and tea, and we were there in our tracksuit, bro. Did you feel out of place?
At first, I thought I was going to, but you know what? They smiled at me.
Nice.
They were nice people. When I showed you the video, on the phone, I actually looked back and thought they were going to be angry because it was a bit loud. I said,
you worrying they're judging you,
yeah. I said, sorry, love. She said, no, it's all right, darling. I was
that's
cool.
nice.
So I was completely.
That's nice.
Because we were probably a bit judgmental then. Actually, we're around some elderly people,
No, but that's
so
what we're judging
we're going to be looked upon in a certain way.
Yeah,
so,
but even in that, I agree with you. But it's to make it's this thing about us making them feel comfortable.
Yeah, man, because they're our seniors, man. Like, and I've been brought up to you respect your elders, you respect the elderly, you respect your elders. So anyone older than me, you know, I respect. I'm pleased and thank you, and I've got manners with anybody anyway.
Yeah,
but having said that, if I see an elderly woman that lives around my area and she's carrying a shopping bag full of milk, I'm going to carry that shopping bag back for her. She's like, no, I'm okay, but I'll carry that back. Anything I can give back to the elderly community, I always will. If I see them in trouble, if I see them they need help, I will help them.
No, respect.
You know, that's the type of person I am. And the same with young people as well, with the job that I do. If I see a young person I see that needs help, that's maybe not necessarily been referred to me, you know, I'm going to try and help him because that's the way I've been brought up. And the same with the women as well. I've been brought up by a woman. So if I see anyone doing harm to a woman or hurting a woman, because I know my mum suffered abuse herself, it's like, nah, I won't have it. Even somebody raising their voice too much or getting in a woman's face, I have to get involved in it because, you know, I don't agree with any man hitting a woman or any woman hitting a man, you know, on the other side, because obviously it works both ways.
Yeah,
some men suffer abuse as well. It's not just about man or woman. It can be a woman or man thing as well.
Facts. But that's an interesting. I mean, that's an interesting dynamic. Just even hearing you talk about that initial feeling entering Belgrade, and then also that idea of making allowances. So let me ask this then: do you feel like you made any allowances when you were coming in here, so that people felt a little more comfortable, or did you just feel like the people out there were actually already comfortable, and it's us that have this idea of?
That's what I'm saying. I think it's 50. I think we know whenever we walk in, subconsciously we always have to feel like, I make people feel comfortable around me.
You want to be liked as a human being, don't you? You want to be liked. So, like, I do anyway. I'm the type of person that I don't like being disliked. So I will try and go places. I'm not saying I change myself. I'm always myself. But having said that, you know, like, say if I know that they're elderly people, I know they're not going to like shouting and loud voices and rowdy people because they're coming to enjoy themselves at the theatre. So I will make adaptations to myself at that point in time. You know, maybe if it was me and him and we were at the pub, it'd be a bit more rowdy, and you're not rowdy, but we'd be, you know, a bit louder. We'd be happy to blast the video. So yeah, I do make some adaptations depending on the situation I'm faced with, you know. So,
And that's just life.
Yeah, man, I think so. Personally,
Okay.
I think for me, that's how you get by life without having issues and problems. Because I think I said it to Aisha earlier. I wear the mask because I don't like to be challenged. So if a woman said, "Excuse me, trying to enjoy my coffee, can you keep your noise down?" I would still do it, but it made me feel uncomfortable because I've actually been asked to do it, and I'd worry about, was I being a bit loud then? And maybe I was being a bit out of order. But actually, they come and sit. There was a load of tables, and they come and sat by us. And I can't lie, I was thinking, it's like we're gonna have to be on our best behaviour now. But having said that, we're good people. We're good people anyway.
It's something that they deserve. They deserve the normal you. You are enough as the normal you as well,
yeah.
as this version of you that caters to that.
Yeah.
So
But
you
also
shouldn't have to
the-
change for others.
We shouldn't have to do that,
Yeah.
but I know we have to do it.
So-
I actually know that sometimes you do have to do that.
Yeah, you do.
But I just want to acknowledge that that's a nice idea of it being mutual. It's a nice idea of actually them giving something, the smile, whatever it is, it's
Yeah.
okay about and us giving something as
It's like a mutual
younger,
nod,
more,
innit?
more aggressive looking. But we're not more aggressive looking, we just wear tracksuits.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. They read in the paper, tracksuit wearing a person stabs someone. That's it. Now every black guy in a tracksuit,
Yeah.
you could be the guy who
I'm in
stabbed the
trouble,
guy.
because that's all I wear. That's where I feel
Bro,
comfortable.
this,
When I'm around these
this
kids,
is a dress up day for me. These will tell you.
All I wear is tracksuits.
I'm normally in slippers and pajamas.
That's not even a joke. Like,
Man, just rolling this.
100%.
You know that they be blaming it on steads. When I'm gonna bring it down, I'm aiming for your heads. I wanna make that money, yeah, I'm down for making movement. Pursuing every day, yeah, is the dream that I did grew to. Stereotypes stick, so they think that I'm a nuisance. Cause my skin's a bit darker than the people that they used to. Want us to be poorer, drive around on the courses. But me, I want them skylines, that Lambos, them Porsches, that big house, that pool, and that stable with the horses. King wants a castle, but I want a fortress.
I ain't gonna lie, growing up has been a struggle. Single parent mama trying to keep me out of trouble. I was a young, immature boy, living in a bubble, thinking I was a big man. True, I had a little stubble, and true, I had some cash from the things I would juggle. If I could change my past, then I would on the double. Youngsters, if you're listening, take my advice. Get yourself some good grades, don't think twice. Do your best in school, it will set you up for life. Cause on a good education, you can't put a price. Deep down inside, you don't know that I'm right. I've lived it, it plays on my mind every night. I could have been anything I wanted to be. A lawyer, a doctor, a famous MC. Time can be precious, one day you will see. So please don't make the same mistakes as me.
I'm more than wavy up tsunami on a beat. A man are talking about their vegans, but they're loving off the beef. Started off cold, but now I'm turning up the heat. You best be ringing up the fairy dog, cause man are losing teeth. Started.
Yeah.
Liburd.
Yeah. Nah, that one.
That was a bit better, innit?